Well, news breaking in the past hour, Abu Dhabi's Crown Prince telling Bloomberg the emirate may buy a piece of BP. For more on who else the company is courting, I want to bring in a Bloomberg best analyst, Phil Weiss. He is ranked #1 by Bloomberg, and he joins us now from Baltimore. Phil, good to see you. And following this news about the Crown Prince saying that, yes, indeed, he is interested in investing in BP, what's your reaction?
Anytime that BP can get some people like that that are long-term investors, I think it's good because it helps support the share price and put some stability around it.
And in fact, you've seen that, right? You've seen a floor on BP stock.
We may well have, as long as the relief well efforts continue to move forward. I think that we could have seen a floor. That does seem possible, yes.
Okay. What about the other efforts of BP right now to try to raise some cash? What is the likely option in terms of asset sales? Let's take that first.
Well, there's a couple things that I believe BP would consider selling. They're looking to sell non-core assets, more mature assets that have a kind of declining production profile. North Slope in Alaska, the Prudhoe Bay property is one thing that's been mentioned. They have some assets in Venezuela that could be of interest to sell to them. There's also some things in Latin America, in Colombia and Argentina. What
do you think would go first?
It really depends on where the buyers are. I think that Prudhoe Bay is one place that could go if they can find somebody interested in that. I think the Latin American properties that I mentioned are particularly high on their list because those are kind of isolated things where BP does have a meaningful interest, but it's not a big part of their portfolio.
Okay. Well, what about the price then, Phil? Do you think that they can get market prices for these assets?
I do. I don't think that they have enough options in terms of different things to sell that I think it would be difficult for the market to take advantage of them, because if they don't like the price, they can just turn to a different asset. So I do think they'd be able to get market price.
Or I guess they could just pull it off the market, right?
That's exactly right, especially when they have options as to what they can sell.
Okay. Now, aside from these sovereign wealth funds, who else have you looked when you're looking at the list of the potential buyers? I mean, who could be the ones? I mean, we've heard some names, but who are the likely ones to buy these assets?
To buy the assets, I could see, we've seen Apache connected with Alaska, though that may be a little bit big for Apache, a little bit too big of a bite for Apache to take relative to its size. But some of the independents might be able to take some of them. Some of the national oil companies like China may be interested in some assets as well. I think that those would be possible buyers. And then if there's a situation where BP had to sell something in the Gulf, I could see somebody like Chevron or Exxon being interested in that, but I don't think the whole company's for sale.
Okay, right. So it's not a takeover candidate, as you've been hearing about with some speculation. Phil, we've got to leave it there.